Once in a while, technical progress allows people to solve many difficult problems all at once. And with the latest in artificial intelligence, a whole new concept of food may soon radically change what we eat. And at the same time, according to the people behind it, it could reduce global warming. No longer based on animal ingredients, this is a food entirely based on plants. Yes, even though it looks like and feels like and tastes like the classic food based on ingredients derived from animals, there is no such ingredient here. Actually, this is not a new idea. It's been around for about 10 years. But the breakthrough has been delayed, perhaps for one important reason. Many consumers still prefer locally produced food. They want to trust the supply chain, not simply depend on big manufacturers. And that is changing now, with teams like this one here in Santiago, Chile. Here is Matias Muchnick and Karim Pichara, two of the founders of a local startup company called the Not Company, joined by Isidora Silva, their biochemist. They are determined to develop this new food and bring it to people in their local market. And they are doing it all by themselves, with the necessary scientific knowledge, labs, and artificial intelligence that's required. We will tell you what all this is and what it means as this team creating a new type of food talks to Al Jazeera. It may seem far removed from the glossy and polished world of corporate production and marketing, and that is sort of the point. This is the lab and the food producers that just may take the place of the local animal farmers. What is all this?
These are plants that we're using, and we're exploring the world of plants just to create this whole new model that would make the current model that's based on animals obsolete. Because we use less land, less water, and less resources for them to make sensorial experiences incredible, but just using plants.
Matias is an entrepreneur who majored in commercial engineering in Santiago, Chile. Karim, a computer scientist, is a research associate at Harvard, interested in data mining and machine learning. And Isidora Silva is a biochemist. Between them, they say they have all the knowledge and resources necessary to translate science into locally produced plant-based food that can replace animal-based ingredients. How did you guys meet each other?
We were just studying abroad in the US, Karim, myself, and Pablo, which is the other partner. And we started talking, and we got some pretty interesting insights from every single scientific perspective, in terms of biotech, economics, and astrophysics. And mixed together, we were exploring a whole new way to make food.
Part of what motivates the team here in Chile is what they consider to be the biggest drawback of classic animal farming. It requires massive amounts of land, and it affects global warming. According to the United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization, livestock contributes both directly and indirectly to climate change through the emissions of greenhouse gases, such as carbon dioxide, methane, and nitrous oxide. Carbon dioxide comes from the use of fossil fuel that's burning during the production of fertilizers, which is used to grow animal feed. It's also part of food processing and things like the transportation of refrigerated food. As if that weren't enough, livestock is also a major driver of deforestation, desertification, as well as the release of carbon from cultivated soils. Overall, the livestock sector is contributing 2.7 billion tons of CO2 emission, according to the UN.
When you get behind the scenes of the food industry, you don't like what you see. Actually, there's a lot of things that we should be knowing in terms of consumers, but we're actually blindsided by a whole industry that's making it really hard for us to see what we're really eating. If we were to start from scratch and we wanted to figure out the best way or the most efficient way to deliver nutrition to the 7.1 billion people in this planet, the answer wouldn't be animals. Science will tell you to do something different. And I think we are discovering a whole new model that will make the other companies replicate the exact same model. So if you ask me if we could base our whole food system on plants, my answer to that would have to be, why not?
But how does it really taste? We will perform a taste test later in the program. But first, there is another part of the story. The main scientist of the team is a computer with artificial intelligence. The software they developed is called Giuseppe, named after Italian artist Giuseppe Arcimboldo, who lived in the 1500s. He was known for creating these types of portraits.
We've been building a data set with molecular formulas of plants, normal food products, and lab experience, results from formulas or results from texture perception, human perception of flavor. And with this data set, we've been training an algorithm whose name is Giuseppe. And Giuseppe is an algorithm, a machine learning algorithm that is trained to learn patterns happening in these molecular components that create the special perception of flavor and texture on every different product. So it's learning how to build traditional food, only getting together different kind of plants.
So you're saying a computer decides how to make all this?
Yeah. Surprisingly, the computer is finding very impressive formulas. And after we produce these formulas, we realized that the computer was right. I mean, that many times the flavor and the texture is very similar to the real products.
Giuseppe, the computer software, is an artificial intelligence algorithm programmed to become the smartest food scientist in the world. It uses deep learning parameters to understand food at a molecular level, helping the team to deliver tasty and affordable nutrition while using less water, less land, less energy, and without the need to cultivate harmful biosystems like animals.
We are facing a broken food system. And why is it broken? Well, because we're basing our diet in meat consumption by raising and breeding livestock, which at the same time, it's the single largest contributor to every major environmental ill known to humankind. I'm talking about deforestation, land use, water scarcity, even world hunger, and the list goes on and on. So, in that being said, we are in search of this whole new model based on plants to actually make the current model based on animals obsolete.
So you're saying you can replicate beef, chicken, pork?
For sure, yeah. One would tend to think that the molecular structure of meat is exclusive to meat, and that's not true. Giuseppe is suggesting that there are ways to reconstruct the exact same molecular structure, but just using plant-based ingredients, which are sustainable and which are really noble in the environment as well. So we have to explore the world of plant-based proteins just to replicate the same exact structure, which will give us the same texture, and at the same time, it will give us the same flavor. It would replicate the same behavior in your, when you're trying to do a barbecue, you say, this meat would have to bleed without blood.
It's a complicated process, but it's designed to understand human perception of taste and texture, which allows it to suggest clever recipes for tasty foods. And even more astonishing, it understands the availability and use of resources for every single plant in the company's database. This computational model can come up with results in a matter of days, making it a cost-effective tool that creates tasty, nutritious, and affordable food, says the team.
The Not Company is a food tech startup that uses machine learning technology to develop sustainable, tasty, and affordable plant-based foods. We use far less water, far less land, and far less energy to produce the exact same nutritional value. So at the end, we are creating the exact same sensorial experience without the use of resources that are being used today.
The software's ability to create plant-based recipes that reconstruct a given molecular structure has no registered match. They were invited to Harvard and Berkeley to showcase their designs.
We won't have a better future playing by the same rules. Let's make new rules. But the first step to solving a problem is recognizing there is one.
From the day we're born, we're told that we must have milk, mother's milk and then every other kind of milk. So what's this?
So this is actually not milk.
So what is this milk made out of?
It's a bunch of plants mixed together that actually generally replicates the nutrition value and the organoleptic experience of dairy milk. And that's amazing because we were able to create a better sensorial experience, but including the exact same nutrition facts, and that makes it sustainable.
And it's not genetically modified?
Oh no. This is dairy-free, non-GMO product that, and the first product that just using plants replicate the molecular structure of the actual dairy milk. So this milk gathers mushroom species, couple of seeds over here. You're gonna see chia, you're gonna see linseed, you're gonna see sesame seeds as well. They're high value in calcium, which it's really hard to find in plants, actually. Mushrooms are a really special kind of plant because they actually don't use their own water, but they use water from another plant, right? So they're really, really sustainable and really noble with the environment as well.
So tell us about this not mayonnaise that we see here.
There are different trials that we are making. Some of them, they have different flavors. This, for example, has garlic. This is a little more spicy. And we are trying different proteins because we want to make them similar with the nutritional value. We are searching for new proteins coming from plants that can match the daily requirements of proteins.
Do you use trees for anything? Like the bark of trees?
We have recipes with different types or parts of the plant, as for example, flowers, seeds, leaves, or maybe the stem, everything. So we use a lot of seeds and different parts of the plants in order to create these new foods. For us, nutritional value is really important. We want our products to match your daily requirement of nutrients and improve them. So there's a lot of science behind all this. There's a lot of physics and chemistry, and we just want you to give a product that is healthy for you.
New types of alternative foods already exist, of course, but they are often hard to come by, and in many cases they're expensive. So even if an average consumer wants to switch to a more healthy diet, it can be a goal that's out of reach. All right, so tell me about all these unusual-looking products.
Okay, so what we have here is actually a bean that replicates...
This is a bean?
Yeah, that's part of a bean. It's been ground before.
It looks like oatmeal.
It does look like oatmeal. This is a bean that actually gets out from flowers, right? We get them from flowers. And what's interesting about it is that it really replicates closely the functionality of animal protein in different mixes. So
did you come up with this, or did Giuseppe tell you?
Well, Giuseppe actually suggested to bring this to the table and to our own products as well.
Unbelievable.
So these are flowers that we're exploring to include
Can I open them? Let me see.
Yeah, for sure. In our products as well, they contain a high amount of fiber that will help us replicate if we wanted to get, the texture of animal meat.
Ah.
Yeah.
This is a very strong ingredient. It's an onion.
Yeah, for sure. But this is actually an interesting ingredient in terms of flavor, right? So you have to manage flavor, texture, and smell at the same with which is not an easy thing to do, right? With with products that we are so used to, you know, we want people to eat better, but without even knowing it. That's the main objective of the Not Company.
I mean, but are these products expensive? For example, in Chile, a liter of almond milk costs about $3.50. How much would this not milk cost?
If you want to buy alternative milk, say almond milk or soy milk, you'd have to spend a lot of money. That's when we come up with these plans that are actually available and will be affordable for everyone. We need to make better products, better nutrition, but also affordable to everyone everywhere.
But for example, in Chile, the almond milk is about $5.50 for a liter. How much would your milk cost?
Half.
Not milk.
Not milk will cost half of what alternative milks cost right now in the supermarket.
But what's the result of all this? Does it work?
So Lucia, we will now blindfold you and you will have to figure out if the food that we're giving you is either animal-based or plant-based.
Whether it's the real deal or the not deal.
Exactly.
Or not
exactly.
food.
Okay, so the first thing we're gonna give you is actually a chocolate. Go ahead and eat it.
This tastes like the chocolate I've always known that's bitter chocolate, like 70% cocoa.
That's actually plant-based chocolate, and the percentage of chocolate actually is more around the 20%. So
It's really good.
you cannot have a chocolate and not have a glass of milk afterwards, right? So here you go, right in front of you.
I can't. All right, if I spill it.
Take a sip.
Well, I know I'm having milk. Can I see?
Yeah, if you want to. You're having a hard time?
You know, it tastes like dairy milk, but sweeter. It's sweeter. It's like richer.
So the interesting about that milk is that it carries exactly the same nutrition than dairy milk.
Now, question: is it more fattening?
Oh no, it's exactly the same as 1% milk.
So let's taste a few more things,
Great.
because I'm
So-
now I'm really now I'm curious.
Okay.
The chocolate was a success. The milk
we
is
got-
is like dairy milk but sweeter and richer.
So this could be either Nutella or not Tella, right? So
Or not Tella.
yeah, you'll have to guess. Maybe is that too much? Go ahead. Enjoy.
Tastes like Nutella.
Actually, this Nutella, believe it or not, doesn't have added sugars. It's from the plants itself. And it doesn't have any dairy on it as well. And the oils come from the fruits and nuts that are present in the same nut, not extracted. This is kind of the same thing. This is a chocolate mousse. The aftertaste.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is a mousse.
I think you have to work on this one a little bit.
Yeah. This is actually one of the latest that we got. This is actually a mousse that, would you be surprised if I tell you that's based in avocado?
Yes, I'd be surprised.
Yeah. So this is a
It's
mousse that,
avocado-based chocolate mousse. And it's not that different. I'm being very
picky.
demanding now
Yeah.
because I'm being picky because everything else is
for sure, yeah.
exactly or almost exactly the same. This is pâté of, well,
Of what?
I'm not sure what it is, but it tastes meaty. I mean, it tastes good. I just don't know what it's not chicken liver, but it's kind of like chicken liver.
Well, yeah, I mean, Again, this is not pate. I mean, this is
But it
plant-based.
tastes like chicken liver pate.
Uh-huh.
Is that the idea?
Yeah.
Okay. What's this supposed to be?
It's cheese, straightforward.
This
right?
is cheese?
Yeah. This is cheese that I'm gonna.
This is very interesting because a lot of people are allergic to dairy products and they can't eat cheese.
Exactly.
Or intolerant.
These are totally vegan, even if we're trying to, build a company that's not necessarily vegan, right? We don't use animals because we care for them as well, but
Okay. They're not cheese.
they're not cheese.
Like herb cheese.
Yeah, well, it has some, condiments as well. One of the most tasty things for me is this one right here. We tried to replicate or reconstruct Philadelphia.
Philadelphia cream cheese.
Cream cheese.
I like this one better.
Last but not least, here's some nachos that we're gonna mix with mayo.
This is very, very similar to mayonnaise. Okay, I'm going to try the classic mayonnaise.
Go ahead.
Perfect. It's perfect mayonnaise. I mean, nobody would ever imagine they weren't eating, that they were getting a substitute. The cheese? I think you can work on the cheese a little more. Still, a lot of work remains, and the clock is ticking. The authorities have already approved some of the products you have seen for sale in the local markets here in Santiago, Chile. How do you see the world and food production in the world, let's say, 25, 30 years from now? What will we be eating? Not what would you like us to eat, but what you really think we'll be eating.
That's an awesome question. At least 50% of the world will be eating plant-based products.
Why?
And why? Well, because it's a win-win situation. I mean, we'll have a better world. We'll improve climate change. I mean, climate change will determine our lives from here to 30 years from now if we keep doing the same things that we're doing. And that involves the production and breeding of livestock. So, I mean, the answer is just there. It's plants. And I really think the world will change.
But in the end, whether this idea of a brand new type of food is really going to take off will be decided not by scientists or a computer software, but by the taste of the average consumer.